what goes into making a good smoothie, a healthy smoothie, and a smoothie that does not also raise your sugar levels, right? Because with diabetes, the concern is that your sugar levels may spike when you eat something. So we're going to give you the tools and all of the methods and hacks that you can follow in order to build your own smoothies, right? So in today's session, we'll also be having a live demo, right? A demonstration of a smoothie towards the end of the session, and we'll also be having a Q&A session, right? So if you have any questions you want to ask us, do leave that in the chat or in the comments, and we will answer all of your questions towards the end of the session, right? So like I said, we'll be talking about smoothies today. I'm Shifa. I'm a nutritionist and diabetes educator, and I'll be taking up today's session. We also have Ayana who will be joining us and, telling you all about how you can build your smoothies and showing you with the demonstrations, right? So I'll quickly go ahead, share my screen, and we'll start off with the session. Right. So like I said, in today's session, we'll talk all about how you can build your smoothies, right? So I'm sure all of you must have heard all about smoothies, and I think it's trending right now, right? Like a different smoothies, be it like protein smoothies, or be it smoothie bowls or acai bowls or whatever it is, right? So smoothies are something which we have been hearing a lot about, right? But there is a lot of things you need to keep in mind before you start incorporating smoothies in your diet, because I'm sure all of you are aware they do have fruits, they have maybe some sort of milk or yogurt, some nuts and seeds. So sometimes there is a chance that they can spike your sugar levels, right? So today we'll be taking you through exactly how you can build your smoothies, what ingredients go into building a better smoothie so they don't spike your sugar levels, right? So first of all, right, what is a smoothie? Right now, basically, like I said, smoothies are something where you usually typically add fruits, right? And it's not like a milkshake, right? I'm sure smoothies and milkshake, they do look kind of similar in appearance, but they're not the same, right? Smoothies tend to be more nutritionally balanced. They have fruits, they are blending the whole fruits, right? So without straining the fruits. Usually when you make a milkshake or any sort of a fruit juice, the tendency is that you always go and you strain or you remove the fiber content of the fruit or the juice, right? So in a smoothie, that is not happening, right? So you blend the whole fruit and you also added vegetables into the smoothie, right? So some vegetables you must have seen are like maybe spinach or, avocados. Those are, quite popular, right? And like I said, unlike juices, which are strained, smoothies are not strained. So you don't typically need to strain the smoothies. You just blend them and you consume them as it is. And because of that, they usually retain their fiber content, which is extremely important in diet, if you have diabetes or if you're looking to keep your blood sugar levels in a stable range. Right. And third thing is that usually they do have a combination of proteins, carbohydrates, and healthy fats, right? So we'll go ahead and tell you exactly what these are also in the upcoming slides. And like I also said, they can also be made into a nutritionally balanced meal, right? So suppose you are short on time or you don't have the time to make a complete meal, you can use smoothies, right? You can make smoothies at your own convenience and you can use them, and you can make them nutritionally balanced, meaning you can add enough proteins, fats, fiber, and carbs in order to make it a complete meal. So there is also the chance of, having that. It's not like only a snack. It can also be as a substitute to a meal in case you are short on time. Right. So this is what are basically smoothies, right? And these are the essentials of building a smoothie, right? Like I said, we are basically looking here to build a nutritionally balanced smoothie, a smoothie that is not going to spike your sugar levels, right? Because again, like I said, smoothies are like liquids. Most they're like semi-solids or liquids, right? So they do have a tendency to get digested a bit quickly because they are ground and they are blended very well. Right. So in order to prevent the sugar spikes, in order to keep your blood sugar levels stable, it is important that you get these essentials very right. Right. So first of all, you have the base, right? So base is something, again, we'll talk all about, each of these in the upcoming slides, but there are four basic things which, you need to add when you're building a smoothie. So first thing is your base, right? The second thing is the fruit. Third thing is your vegetables. And lastly, it is your protein. Now, adding all of these things is what is making the protein, the smoothie protein rich, making it more fiber rich, making it more nutritionally balanced. So it doesn't spike your sugar levels, right? So I'm sure all of you know that when you have balanced meals, when you have a good combination of proteins, healthy fats, fiber and carbs, it does not actually, spike your sugar levels to a large extent. So that is the key that we want to keep in mind, even when you're building any smoothie, right? So like I said, this is the essentials of building a smoothie. Now let us see what exactly consists of a base, right? So first of all, base is something that is a liquid or, semi-solid in nature, like yogurt or any sort of water or milk, right? So first, a suggestion would be to choose an unsweetened liquid, right? I'm sure all of you, all there are so many, different things. Some people even use tea or coffee, to make a smoothie, but that is not recommended because usually you add some sort of sweetener, right? So make sure you choose a unsweetened liquid, and something like milk. You can have yogurt, almond milk, coconut milk, soy milk, even coconut water is a good, addition to smoothies. Just plain water, if you're not looking to add on some extra calories, water, just plain water would be a really good, suggestion for a base. And then cashew milk, you have Greek yogurt or even vegan yogurt. Right now, if you see all of these, suggestions, most of them are, or all of them are actually unsweetened, right? They don't have any added sugars or they don't have any added sweeteners. So they're actually very good. So even when you're looking at going for these plant-based milk like soy milk, coconut milk, almond milk, they are available in the market, right? But make sure you always look at the ingredients in the back of the packet before you purchase these, milk, because they sometimes do tend to have some flavors or even some sort of sweeteners. So do make sure to look at the unflavored one, unsweetened one when you're picking up a milk or like a plant-based milk. That is one suggestion. And even when it comes to Greek yogurt, there are multiple flavors available in the market, right? So do make sure to choose one that is not that does not contain, flavors or, sweeteners, because we want something that is not going to add on to the calories and something that's not going to spike your sugar levels, right? So this is the suggestion for a base. So always go for unsweetened liquids or, yogurt or water. Right, this is the first thing that you have to get, or you have to first choose your base. So first thing you have to decide when you're making a smoothie is your base, right? So this is all the options you can go for, right? And secondly, it is the fruit, right? So what are like, obviously you will be having a lot of options for fruits, right? But obviously you have to choose low to moderate GI fruits, right? Because with diabetes, again, if you choose high GI fruits, there are chances that it can spike your sugar levels, and that is something that we don't want, right? So make sure you choose low to moderate glycemic index fruits. That meaning these fruits, when you consume them, they will not spike your sugar levels very quickly, right? They will lead to a more stable rise in sugar levels, and that is what is very good for basically people with diabetes, so that insulin resistance can be reduced, right? So basically make sure you choose low to moderate glycemic index fruits. And secondly, be mindful of the quantity, right? So especially when it comes to fruits, like I said, they do have some fructose, they have some glucose, right? So do make sure that you are being very aware of the quantity of fruits you're taking, right? So it is suggested that you take very less, like minimal amount of fruits as you can, right? So that is one thing that I would suggest. Make sure that the fruit is minimum, and also always don't add excessive fruits. I understand that is one way you can increase the sweetness, you can increase the flavor of your smoothie, but make sure that you don't add excess of it. So be very, very mindful of it. Make sure that that is the minimum in the fruit, right? So that is the second point. Thirdly, always choose as many colors as you can when it comes to fruits or even vegetables, right? So the more colors you incorporate into your smoothie, like you have blueberries, you have strawberries, you have so many peaches, which are like oranges or whatever it is. So different colors, right? So make sure you choose different colored fruits for, different, smoothies, or even for the same smoothie, depending on your preference. But make sure you choose the colorful fruits, because each of these colors, tend to have a bit of, like these antioxidants. So each color has its own antioxidants, like carotenoids or anthocyanins or whatever they are, right? So each of this have a lot of benefits when it comes to inflammation. They're very anti-inflammatory, and they also help with reducing oxidation, right? So make sure you choose colorful fruits. Like kiwis are also a good option. Bananas are also okay, but again, be very mindful of the quantity, because bananas can, spike your sugar levels if they're taken in excess. Berries are, I think, one of the most wonderful things you can add into your smoothies, like blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, because they do have a low GI, and also they're not going to spike your sugar levels a lot, and they're very, very rich in anthocyanins, right? Even pineapples are good, apples, pears, all of these are good, fruits that you can add into your smoothies, right? This is about your fruit, right? And one more thing that fruit helps with is obviously not, they do have a lot of fiber content, right? So do make sure to include fruits in your diet and choose high fiber fruits. Like even guavas are very good in high fiber fruits. Apples are also good in fiber. So do make sure to choose the high fiber foods, because this is one place where you can actually increase the fiber content in your smoothie, right? So moving on, we have the next thing, which is basically, I'm sorry. Yeah, which is the vegetables, right? So this again is another way to up the nutritional value of your smoothie, right? So if you think about it, like this is almost like a complete meal, right? So you have your vegetables, you have your fruits, you have your base, which also gives a bit of protein, right? So vegetables can be very well added into the smoothie. You can even add a lot of green leafy vegetables, and they don't impact the taste as much, right? So they can actually increase the nutritional value without impacting the taste, right? So make sure you add vegetables, like you can add spinach, you can add carrot, you can add cucumbers, zucchini, avocado, kale, any vegetable of your choice. Even lettuce can be added. So any vegetable that you want to add into your smoothie, please feel free, go ahead and add them into the smoothie, right? These can also help again in terms of increasing the fiber content, right? So vegetables do have a lot of soluble as well as insoluble fiber. So do make sure to add them, because they can be really good for your gut health, right? And they will also help improve your gut health as well, right? So do make sure to add some vegetables in your smoothies, because they will definitely again help improve fiber, like I said, and because of that, they also add some sort of bulk into your smoothie, right? So you want to have some body in your smoothie, right? So that the thickness, all of that is also given by the vegetables. They also, like I said, are a very good source of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, right? So again, like a lot of vegetables are very, very rich sources of magnesium, calcium, and iron as well, especially all the greens. This is a good way for you to add in your greens in a form of a smoothie, right? Especially if you don't like to eat your greens, I would say do add them into a smoothie. And one more thing is, the best part is that you don't have to strain the smoothie, right? Because everything is so blended well, you don't actually have to strain it. So you're still getting all the fiber that you require through the form of a smoothie, right? So that is the third thing that you have to consider when you're making a smoothie, which is a vegetable. So choose your vegetable next, right? So once you have your base, you have your fruit, and then you have your vegetable. So once you choose it, you can then go ahead and choose what protein you want to add into your smoothie. Right now, like I said, again, protein is something which is a part of a healthy meal. Like a balanced meal is only, if a meal is only considered to be balanced if it has protein, right? So adding protein into your smoothie can be a great way to get some protein, to meet your protein requirements, basically, right? So first thing is that they, first of all, like I said, add balance, they make your meal more balanced, right? So one more thing, or one more reason why you should be adding protein is because they will definitely help to improve the blood sugar control, right? So protein is something which takes a bit longer to digest in your your stomach and in your gut, right? So because of that, the release of glucose will also be very, very slow, right? So it'll not be a spike, it'll be like more of a stable release of glucose, right? So because of that, you'll also make sure that your sugar levels are not spiking. You'll also have better glucose control if you add protein in your meals and your protein and your smoothie, right? And because of because the proteins are very slowly digested, they also improve the glycemic load of the meal. So the entire smoothie, they will decrease the glycemic load, basically. They'll decrease the glycemic load of the smoothie, right? So that is the other reason why you should be adding protein. And not only that, they also will help you stay more satiated, right? So after you eat something, if you do feel very, very hungry, very quickly, then adding protein in your smoothie or in your meals would again be very, very useful to keep you full for longer periods of time, right? So if you are someone who feels hungry very often, try adding more protein and more fiber in your meals. That will help you to keep yourself full for longer. So adding a source of protein, like either it could be seeds or nuts, it could be tofu, it could be, you also have like silken tofu or soft tofu that is available, which you can add to smoothies, and those get blended very beautifully. Then you have your nut butter, like peanut butter, almond butter, cashew butter, whatever it is. And you can also add protein powder into smoothies, right? But that's again depending on, if you're getting your protein requirements through the meals or not, right? Only then you can add the protein powder. But other things you can also, which also contain proteins, is like a yogurt, right? Greek yogurt does contain a lot of proteins. That is actually a base, but also a source of protein for the smoothie, right? This is all about protein. So adding protein will definitely help you stay more satiated, and it will keep your blood sugar levels in control. So this is the key factor that you should keep in mind. So whatever you add, even if you don't add a fruit into your smoothie, make sure you add a protein in your smoothie, because that is the reason why that is what makes the smoothie more balanced and more diabetes friendly, right? So this is all about protein. Right now, these are a couple of combinations that you can try, right, when it comes to making smoothies, right? So now we discussed all about the base, right? We discussed about the fruit, we discussed about the vegetables, and we also discussed about the protein, right? But these are a couple of combinations you can try when it comes to making smoothies at your own house, right? So you have yogurt, which is the base. You have spinach, which is the vegetables. Blueberries, the fruit. Pumpkin seeds, which are like your protein and also source of healthy fat, right? So these are all the combinations you can try. So you just have to mix and match, but always make sure that this combination of base, fruit, vegetable, and protein is always there, right? And even healthy fats you can definitely add in by adding in your chia seeds, your pumpkin seeds, tahini, which is like a sesame seed paste. All of these also have a lot of healthy fats, and even avocados are a great option, which gives you which is also vegetable and a healthy fat. So definitely you can mix and match any combination of your choice, but only thing you have to keep in mind is that your smoothie should contain the 4 essential components. It is the base, the vegetable, the fiber, the fruit, and the protein. Right. So if that is there, then your smoothie will definitely be more balanced and more blood sugar friendly. Right. So this is a couple of combinations. You can definitely try these out later on. And these are a couple of things you should keep in mind before you make a smoothie, or if you are planning to incorporate this into your diet. Right. The first thing is that try using frozen fruits, right? So if you have fresh fruits, you can just keep them in the freezer the night before, right? A couple of days, couple of hours before, and you can just use them to blend the smoothie. Right now, what does this do? Why do you have to use frozen fruits? It's not like a compulsory thing, but it is recommended because it does improve the flavor of the smoothie. It improves the texture of the smoothie and gives a very creamy, consistency. So do try to do this if possible, right? A lot of fruits like berries can be frozen, peaches can be frozen, every single fruit can be frozen. So do definitely try to make it use the frozen fruit, because it does give a very creamy consistency to your smoothie, right? Secondly, one more thing that can go wrong here is that when you're making a smoothie is that it becomes too thick, right? Because usually we don't tend, it's like I said, it's not a milkshake, right? Milk is not the major proportion of the smoothie. So there is a chance it can become quite thick, right? So in that case, again, it becomes difficult for you to sip on it or drink. So you have to possibly eat it like a sorbet. So that is not again recommended, right? So in that case, you can add enough liquid, but if you have added, like, let's say half a cup of milk and you don't want to add more, you can just add plain water, right? Like I said, water is again a good way to add some liquid into the smoothie without increasing the calories or the nutritional the amount of what do you say calories and glucose in your meal, right? So do make sure to add some sort of liquid and get the right consistency, right? And one more thing you have to keep in mind is that the ratio of the ingredients, right? Like I said, the base, the fruit, the vegetable, and the protein, you have to just make sure that it is 1:1:1:1, right? So one portion of the base, one portion of the fruit, one portion of the vegetable, and one portion of the protein. So that way you will actually be able to hit the right consistency as well. right? And secondly, also always make sure to choose whole fruits instead of fruit juices, right? So there are a lot of recipes which you may find where they actually use maybe orange juice or ready-made juices in order to make the smoothies. That is not again recommended. Even if you freshly prepare the fruit juice, don't use that to prepare a smoothie, right? Because again, when you juice a fruit, you usually remove the fiber content, right? That is not recommended. So do try to use the whole fruit as it is and add that into your blender when you're making any sort of a smoothie, because that is most recommended, because then you'll be able to get the fiber content in the fruit. The next thing is to avoid adding any sweeteners, right? One more thing that typically, if you see most of the smoothie recipes, or some of them do add a lot of ingredients like honey or maple syrup, or some sort of sweetener like monk fruit or whatever it is, right? So try to avoid this if you have diabetes, right? So because again, all of these sweeteners add extra calories. They will also they're also sources of simple sugars, right, which increase your sugar spikes, or they raise your sugar levels, right? So that is not recommended. So if you have diabetes, avoid any sort of sweeteners like honey, maple syrup, whatever it is, and only try to rely on fruits for your the sweetness of the smoothie, right? That is the other recommendation. And secondly, and lastly, what I also want to talk about is that you have to be very mindful of the portion size when you consume smoothies, right? Like smoothies are very nutritionally balanced. They do have protein, they have healthy fats, they have carbs, they also have fiber. But one thing you have to keep in mind, if you have, like, if you are slightly overweight or you're looking to lose weight, right? One thing is because they are something you sip on, right? So when you're sipping on something, you usually tend to like not pay a lot of attention to the food or the food you're drinking, right? Basically, it's a drink. So you may just sip on it and you may not feel like you've had something, right? So in that case, there's a chance that you can actually overeat, or overeat the quantity may be a little bit high, right? So be very, very mindful of that, because like I said, they do have a lot of, like, they sometimes be add a lot of chia seeds, almonds, peanut butter, nut butters, or whatever, and all of these are actually high in calories, right? So make sure you're adding the peanut butter or the almonds or the chia seeds, all the nuts and seeds and nut butters in a moderate portion size, right? Because adding too much of that can actually increase the caloric value of this smoothie. And if you're looking to lose weight, or if you are someone who's overweight, then that is not recommended, right? So just be mindful of that, and be mindful of the entire smoothie proportions as well. So make sure you are following that, because in that case you don't want to have a very high calorie drink. You want to have a moderate calorie, something which is good. If it's a snack, it should not be more than 250, right? So make sure you do focus on the portion size of the smoothie in general, and also the amount of high calorie ingredients like nuts and seeds and nut butters that you add, because that is something which can not be quite healthy if you have too much of it, right? So that is the other thing. So like I said, and the last point, again, like I again said before, is a 1:1:1 ratio, right? So make sure you have one portion of the base, one portion of the vegetable, one portion of fruit, and one portion of protein. This will again help you to get the right smoothies. This is how you can basically build your smoothies with the four different essentials that we discussed so far. So now we have a small demo for all of you, where we can show you how you can make your own smoothies, and we also will tell you exactly how to basically make your smoothie. So small demo. I think yes, let me just spotlight Ayana.
Yes. Thank you, Shifa. So I hope my screen is visible to everyone. If you can just confirm that.
Yes, Ayana, your screen is visible.
Right. So I think Shifa was talking about what are the things that needs to go into a smoothie, right? So the first thing that we would be putting up is a base, correct? So I'm using the yogurt over here. So you can have about 1 teaspoon or 1.5 teaspoon of yogurt. So that's a very thick yogurt. So make sure that if you want that creamy consistency, you can have that. So go ahead with that. And the second thing that needs to go in is your fruits. So you can have berries, you can have any low glycemic index fruit. So we have apple here, so it has a very low glycemic index. So I'm going to add that. And just to make sure that we give a little bit of sweetness to it, I'm going to add very small quantity of banana. I hope it's visible, because it is a very less quantity of banana. We're not adding an entire banana. This is a very small portion. So we'll just add a little bit of banana. And the next thing we have is the vegetable, right? So here I'm using just spinach, right? Properly washed spinach. So I'm adding a lot of spinach over here just to make sure that, there's good amount of fiber content in it. And the last thing that we would add is our protein. So I have peanut butter over here. So peanut butter, make sure that, it is in a moderate quantity that you're using. If you are the person who's trying to, gain weight, definitely peanut butter has good amount of protein. You can add that as well. And do not forget that, the peanut butter that you're taking in should be sugar-free. So please check your labels before purchasing it. So we have all the ingredients here in the jar. So we can just make sure that we blend it. I have a already blended smoothie with me right now. So I'll just show you, what is the consistency supposed to be, and you can have it as a smoothie bowl. You can have it in your as a drink, any way that you like. Correct. So I'm just going to add in the smoothie, so you can see the consistency of it. Right, it's really thick. So make sure that you have a good consistency of smoothie. And the extras that we can add to a smoothie, I think Shiva has mentioned all of those things. So I over here have chopped almonds. So you can have chopped almonds here. And I have chia seeds with me. So they have good amount of protein. They also have good amount of omega fatty acids. So go ahead, you can add chia seeds. You can have about 1 teaspoon of chia seeds, that's more than enough. And I also have walnuts. So you can go ahead and add some chopped walnuts. Any nuts that you want to add, you can go ahead and add it. So any seed, any kind of nuts that you want, you can go ahead and have it. And this is all that you require to make a smoothie. It will not take a very long time. It's just a very short preparation, as long as you know what are the right ingredients and what is the right quantity of it. So I hope this session was helpful. If you want, you can just see it more closely. Is it visible, Shifa, or do I need to bring it more?
Yes, no, it's visible.
All right.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Ayana.
Thank you.
Yeah. So hope all of you, got some idea as to how you can get your own smoothie. And like Ayana here, she made a smoothie bowl, right? So it doesn't have to be something that you actually have to drink, but you can actually make a smoothie bowl with a bit of a, thicker consistency in order for you to, consume it. So that is something you can do, right? And thank you so much, Ayana, for that. And we would love to see, all of your, smoothie creations. You can definitely, share with us. We would love to see all of that. And I think now we'll take a couple of questions. So if you have any questions, please go ahead, leave it in the comments and we'll answer them for you. Right. So we have a couple of questions. So one question is by Mr. Rahul. Okay, so why is a smoothie necessary for diabetes? Okay, so Rahul, the smoothies are something that is not necessary for diabetes, right? So this is something that most people, are curious to know about, right? They also are there are a lot of, some people don't have a lot of time. They don't have a lot of, time to make certain foods, make dinner, make breakfast, right? I think breakfast is one thing which people find difficulty in making. And smoothie is something that is very quick to whip up, right? So smoothies is something you can have in case you are not having the time to, make a meal, right? You can definitely, like I mentioned, this can be a very balanced meal, adding a lot of protein, adding lots of fiber from vegetables, fruits, proteins from yogurt or nuts and seeds, from tofu. You can even add, like cottage cheese you can add. So all of these things make it very much balanced, right? So this is a way for you to actually eat. It can also be like a snack as well, right? Like a snack if you are if you're hungry during like in between your meal time and when you want a balanced snack, smoothies are a great option to go for. So it's not a necessary unless, if you prefer to drink smoothies, you can literally have them once in a while, but it's not that, you need to drink smoothies if you have diabetes. It's definitely not it. It's something that this session was basically to, to make you understand how you can build more balanced smoothies which don't actually impact your sugar levels, right? Okay, so hope that answered your question, sir. So we have another question by Mr. Anurag, right? Which fruits are to be avoided? Okay, so actually, Anurag, so there's not a lot of fruits that need, like, basically you can have all fruits, right? So I know, I understand it's mango season right now. There's, a lot of other fruits like bananas, which, we usually say to avoid, but you don't actually have to avoid it. All you have to do is make sure the portion is controlled. And that is the key here. So if the fruits, you basically need to control the portion size and the frequency that you consume it. Is basically mangoes, bananas, all of the very very sweet fruits. Like, if you have the mango, it will be sweet. If you have banana, it's going to be very sweet, right? Even chiku is sweet. Custard apple, and also they also have very smooth or very soft texture, right? So they tend to have a higher amount of fructose and glucose, and they can actually increase the sugar levels, right? If they are taken in large quantities. So just be very aware of the portion size you're consuming, because you don't actually have to avoid it. You just have to be aware of the portion size you're taking, right? Like if you're having like mangoes, just have 1 or 2 slices maximum. If you're having banana, just have like 3/4 of a banana. If it's a one small banana, then like a very tiny one, it's fine. But just be very, very aware of the portion size you're taking, because that is the major key when it comes to consuming fruits. And one more thing you can keep in mind when you're taking any fruit is that pair it up with a bit of seeds, right? Seeds again will help you to improve the glycemic load of the meal. So adding seeds again, because they have healthy fats and some protein, they will help to reduce the sugar spike. So that is my tip when it comes to fruits. But I would say if you're looking to eat fruit on a regular basis, go for fruits like guavas. They're very good. Citrus fruits like oranges, mosambi are very great because they do have a lot of fiber content. Apples, pears, these are all fruits you can take on a regular basis. But again, be aware of the portion size. That is the most important factor. Okay, so Ushila ma'am, where to get vegan yogurt, right? So vegan yogurt you'll be able to find in some supermarkets. If you're not able to find them in supermarkets, you can definitely find them online, right? I think as of now there is soy yogurt, coconut yogurt, and also peanut curd. So you can find, search for them online. You will be able to find them in some online stores. So that is, where you can find the vegan yogurt. Okay. Okay, so Silky, ma'am, at what time one should have smoothies, right? So basically, there is no specific time, right? But I would say have smoothie, maybe as a snack, that would be good. And also, if you're not able to have, not able to make a proper breakfast, again, having that in the morning would also be okay. And also maybe as a snack, like maybe in evening time or in the mid morning. I would say mid morning is like a good time to have, like a smoothie, like a snack. It would be great. Okay, so Usha ma'am, chia seeds can be used for cooking. So no, actually, chia seeds you need to soak them before you eat. You consume them. But we have added the chia seeds into the smoothie, right? Which is a liquid, right? So then it's completely fine. So you just have to add the chia seeds into the liquid, and it will like soak in it by itself, right? So otherwise, if you're having chia seeds in which is not in a smoothie or in a juice, then definitely do soak it. Okay, Mahesh. Okay, okay. Okay, so can we mix fruits with leaves? So yes, you can definitely mix like fruits with spinach. You can mix it with like lettuce or kale, whatever green leafy vegetable you want to do. You can definitely make them into a smoothie. That's completely fine. Um, Bananas advisable. Okay, so like I said, bananas are not actually something you should be taking every single day. And like I said, none of the fruits are to be completely avoided. There's no that you should not have this particular fruit. There is nothing like that. You just have to make sure that you are being aware of the portion size, right? So when you add, like, suppose, even in the smoothie that we made, we did add a bit of bananas, like only like 2 to 3, slices, not more than that, right? So that only again gives a bit of taste, but also we added a lot of other things. We added a lot of nuts, we added chia seeds, walnuts, almonds, spinach, yogurt. All of this makes it much more balanced, right? So if you have banana as a fruit, it will definitely spike your sugar level. So try to come, if you're having bananas, have it, occasionally, and also have it in combination with other things like nuts and seeds. That would be the best thing for, in order to keep your sugar level stable. Okay, so is fructose also harmful? The thing is, like, nothing is, harmful, right? But the one thing about fructose is that fructose needs to be, metabolized or broken down in the liver, right? So because of that, if you have a high triglyceride level, but again, everything, kind of does, spike your sugar levels, right? And fruits do have a combination of fructose and glucose, although the major sugar is the fructose, but still, right, it requires your liver in order for it to get metabolized, right? So because of that, if you have a high triglyceride, there's a high chance that if you have lots of fruits, a lot of fructose, your triglycerides can go higher, that can be the impact. So it's not harmful, but it just, you have to, like, see, everything in excess is bad for you. Whatever, however healthy the food is, if you have it in excess, it is not, good for you, right? So definitely try to have everything in a portion controlled way, right? That is the key when it comes to anything, right? The portion control is the key. Okay, so what is the ideal portion size, right? So Ajoy sir is asking what is the ideal portion size. So again, I would say around 200 to 250 ml would be the ideal, portion. That's about 1 glass. Again, you have to keep in mind that, this is a combination of 4 different things, right? So you have your base, which is either milk or yogurt or, some sort of a watery base. Then you also have, your protein, you have vegetables and fruit. So these 4 things together should make about 200 or 250 ml. That would be the suggested portion size. So it's not just, fruit juice, like 200 ml fruit juice is too much, but for smoothie, but because it's combination, it's completely fine. Okay, can we use fresh coconut water? So yes, Bindu ma'am, you can definitely use fresh coconut water, but again, with coconut water, you can take it, but again, be aware of portion size when it comes to coconut water. And again, when you're combining with a smoothie, you will be combining and adding other, fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds, right? So that way it doesn't increase your glycemic load that much. The glycemic load will be reduced, right? So that is definitely fine. You can have coconut water, add them in the smoothies. But if you're looking for drinking coconut water on like a regular basis, if you have diabetes, I would not suggest it to take it in a regular basis, again, because it can spike your sugar levels, right? So just keep a check on your sugar levels when you're drinking coconut water, and if possible, do try to take it before your exercise or immediately after, right? The sugar levels, the spike can also be reduced. So again, portion control is the key. So make sure you are keeping an eye on the amount of or the quantity of coconut water you are drinking. Okay, Vandana ma'am, can we take watermelon? If yes, how much? Okay, so watermelon, yes, it can be taken. It does have a bit of a higher glycemic index, right? So again, when it comes to watermelon, do make sure that you are not having too much of watermelon, and combine it always with some sort of seed, like pumpkin seeds, chia seeds. You can have, sunflower seeds, any seed, or even watermelon seeds. Like, just have a portion of seeds with watermelon, because that will, help to keep your sugar levels under control, right? That would be my suggestion. Can we use commonly available fruits like watermelon? Yes, you can definitely use, Ramesh sir. Commonly, yes, definitely you can use oranges, mosambi, papayas, citrus fruits. I would say other, like the, a good things to be added, because they do have some fiber. Vitamin C is also like really high, so you can definitely add them. But any seasonal fruits is, I would say, one of the things you can add, because they are in season, and you can definitely have them. But again, always with any type of fruit, right? The only thing you have to keep in mind is the portion size you're taking, and also always combine it with nuts and seeds. And if you're adding it into a smoothie, you're already adding some vegetables, you're already adding healthy fats, you're already adding protein into it. So then you don't have to worry too much. So just follow the 1:1:1:1, ratio, and then make your smoothie with any fruit of your choice. Okay, can we add dalchini powder, black salt? Yes, definitely promotes. You can definitely add like cinnamon, dalchini, like salt, whatever it is. You can definitely add it. So if you prefer the taste of it, definitely go ahead and add. It's not going to impact your the macros in the smoothie that much. So again, dalchini or cinnamon powder is actually quite good. You can definitely add it. It does seem to have some sort of impact on the insulin sensitivity. So definitely go ahead, add it. Even black salt can be added. Okay, Shankar Krishnan sir, our smoothies advice for type 1 diabetes. So again, with type 1 diabetes, right, you may be taking insulin, right? You will be on insulin. So one thing you have to keep in mind is that you should always match your carbs to your insulin, right? So you're taking 1 unit of insulin, you should, match it with 15 grams of carbs. That should be the thing. So depending on that, you can definitely take, smoothies if you have type 1 diabetes, but make sure that your insulin is matched. So do talk to your doctor, do talk to your dietitian. They'll be able to help you with the appropriate quantities. Okay, Vandana ma'am, can you suggest, okay, protein powder? Okay, so Vandana, I would say have or opt for protein powders only if you are unable to get your protein from your diet, right? So if you're able to get your protein from your diet, then you don't require protein powder. But again, protein powder again depends on what you want to go for. So if you want to go for like plant-based protein powders, you can go for that. You can also have the whey protein. That depends on whichever one you want to take. So that again is your preference. And also do make sure that whenever you're buying any type of protein powder or any food from the market, just make sure you always look at the label, right? Get the back of the label, the ingredient list, and then make a choice, right? So there's so many different protein powders available in the market. So you can look at the label and you can decide depending on the either you want a whey protein or you want a vegan protein. So whatever it is, do go for it as per your choice. Renu Jain, ma'am, can type 1 diabetes also be reversed? So unfortunately, no. Type 1 diabetes, right? It is an autoimmune condition, basically where the cells in our body is attacking the beta cells of the pancreas, right? And because of that, the beta cells are destroyed right now, and because of the beta cell destruction, insulin is not being produced right now. When insulin is not being produced, right there, it will not be, you will not be able to reverse it, because you need insulin in order to actually utilize the glucose or to keep our blood sugar levels stable. Like the main job of insulin is to make sure that our blood sugar levels are stable, and it keeps it under control. So if you don't have insulin, there is no way that you can do that, right? That's why external insulin is always required for type 1 diabetes, because the beta cells which actually produce insulin are not there anymore, or they are destroyed because of certain factors, right? So because of that, they are not reversible. But type 2 diabetes is where there is insulin, but our cells become resistant to insulin. So in that case, because there is insulin being produced, beta cells are still functioning, it is possible to reverse type 2 diabetes. Unfortunately, type 1 diabetes is not reversible. Right. So I think those were it. Those are the questions that we had. So thank you all so much for joining in and, attending our session. Hope all of you, took something away from this session and, learned something new. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. And we'll also be sharing a link in the chat box or in the comments, right? So if you would like, a personal consultation with our team, definitely you can click on the link and fill in your details, and we will reach out to you personally. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining in.